Member for Kelowna Mission.
Well, newsflash to the minister, we actually have the third worst economy in all of Canada right now. So, yeah, bummer about that one. Today, the Bank of Canada is warning of a steep jump in mortgage payments due to rising interest costs. But who's to blame? Well, Scotiabank confirmed that the majority of interest rate hikes are the direct result of provincial inflationary deficits like the record-setting ones created by this NDP. So it's no wonder why nearly 70,000 of our children and youth and young professionals left for Alberta last year. They can't afford a mortgage or rent. BC United's rent-to-own plan through new homes frees up rental apartments and takes pressure off of the housing market. So when will the Premier finally deliver results by adopting BC United's rent-to-own plan and bring back hope that our kids desperately need to one day purchase their own home and raise their own families right here in BC?
Minister of Housing.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. We share that commitment of wanting to see young people be able to stay in our province, to be able to raise their families in communities that they grew up. That's why we brought such bold action into the legislature last fall. Honourable Speaker, they opposed many of those initiatives. They opposed most of those initiatives, Honourable Speaker, and it was a shame because now those very initiatives that we have part of our Homes for People strategy are being adopted across the country. In fact, the federal government has said we are going to tie infrastructure funding if you do the work that BC is doing in communities throughout the province. And Honourable Speaker, I'll share another interesting fact for them. They say people are going to Alberta. You know who's coming from Alberta? Doctors, nurses, Honourable Speaker. You look at the data. I'm happy to share with a member across the way. We are seeing doctors and nurses coming to British Columbia, Honourable Speaker. And I'll end with this, Honourable Speaker. The member mentioned Scotiabank.
Members.
The member mentions Scotiabank. I can share with the member that the CEO of Scotiabank was an author of a report on how to address the housing crisis in Ontario. We have adopted all the policies that the CEO suggested, and they're looking to BC as a leader in the country when it comes to reforms needed to ensure there's housing available for people in British Columbia.
Member for Kelowna Mission Supplemental.
Well, I think that the minister needs to get outside of the echo chamber because the very initiatives that he's mentioning are creating housing chaos within our municipalities. How do we know? Housing starts in Q1 are down in BC. High taxes, high fees, and high rents are causing our kids to give up and move to Alberta. According to the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation, the average two-bedroom rental will soon reach $2,800 in Metro Vancouver, up $1,000 a month from 2021. But the best that the NDP Premier and this housing minister can offer is a BC Builds plan, adding less than 1% of the 700,000 homes that CMHC says are needed to restore affordability. So why won't the Premier adopt the BC United plan to turn rent payments into down payments and give young people hope again?
Minister of Housing.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Everyone in this place supports the idea of somebody renting, getting into home ownership. In fact, the federal Liberals in their platform committed to a program similar to what they've announced. They've had challenges rolling it out. They've had challenges rolling it out because they know that it's a very difficult proposal to move forward. But that being said, the principle is something we support as well. But what I'll say to the member is, she mentions CMHC data. CMHC says we're building 2.5 times more housing than Ontario. 2.5 times. CMHC March 2024 monthly housing stable reports has this information I'm happy to share with the member. Honourable Speaker, we know that the system that we have for housing is not working for too many people. For too many years, we had governments, in fact, the government, the former party here, former BC Liberal Party, governments like them who decided, you know what, we're not going to invest in the affordable housing that people need. We're going to just stay out of the way and somehow this is going to solve itself, Honourable Speaker. We've seen that failed policy and the outcomes that come from that, Honourable Speaker. I think British Columbians are ready for the actions that we're taking. In fact, I know they are, because we're getting messages from people and leaders across the country who are saying we would like to replicate the initiatives that you're taking on to ensure that our communities have housing that they need as well.